Shout out to the stream last night. Make sure you go ahead and check that out. A lot of good commentary on there. Let me know what you think in the comments below. To the description of every video, starting with this one, sooner or later. Better about doing that. Um, and so, anyway, I just wanted to do kind of an afterthought of the video, and I put Mr. PW because I don't want you niggas. A lot of you, some of you niggas, be shadow watching, and then you all like to run. Somebody said this and said that, and then get shit started. You know, that's one of the things that really pissed me off O'Shea and the situation now. Um, that shit really needs to stop happening because a lot of y'all niggas are in this space for the wrong thing. This ain't the WWF. I'm not here for the nigga shit and fucking you motherfuckers that you all will be removed from my channel because I'm about understanding. Yo, yesterday was a great example of that. So definitely check that out. Towards the end, you know, where people stood. And that's one of the things that whether people agree or disagree, I definitely want that. I like to unpack things so we know exactly what people are talking about. Good, you know, heated debate, but a lot of debate that you walk away. Because I will say this about Mr. Fantastic as well. There's a lot of people that think like he does. There's a lot of people that think like he does. It's like a Tatum thing. And I think the black people stuff and not really understand where somebody's coming from so they could resolve it, create that same thing, the gynocracy too. So that this it's a lot of people in YouTube that has his point of view and a lot of audience has his point of view. And I think people need to understand that just like on the married stuff, everybody or long-term relationship thing, everybody ain't necessarily anti-relationship. And folks have to really start to understand that and start to accept some of that stuff and then leave that where it lays and stop trying to make it such a big deal all the time because it's starting fires that doesn't need to be there. I actually just got my hair cut and my barber in particular, you know, he's a gun owner, all of that, you know, New Jersey dude. And he said straight up, like he's not gonna vote for Trump. Because it came up because it was only people in the barber because of COVID. As far as you know, they're limited, so people started talking, and it was interesting. I let them talk. A couple things that came out, but you know, he voted for Trump for 16. He's not gonna vote this time. And then like last time I got my haircut was like maybe 10 days ago, because I just went and got a lineup. You know, I'm like, oh, what happened? And I'm not, I don't give a fuck about Trump. So I generally don't even talk about politics like that. And I usually talk about like internal shit. But he was talking about how I guess, you know, some little girls that, you know, as far as like, I don't, it wasn't his daughters, but I guess his daughter's friends and stuff. He was driving around and he was talking about how emboldened a lot of these white folks are in zones that have never displayed that type of behavior. And he basically puts that on Trump. Now, I said, you know, a lot of these motherfuckers was just as mad when Obama was there. So either they're going to be mad or happy. So it's not necessarily Trump, necessarily, but just as time goes on, because the system is not checking these people, it's kind of building on each other. And he agreed with that. But when the shit got real, even the reason why I was very perturbed, like very annoyed by it, is because number one, you don't know the views I have, which is what he was saying about how those white people treat him. And also, I'm armed, you know, because this is not no motherfucker just like on some white folks are the greatest thing or anything like that. He don't give a fuck. New Jersey cat, Newark cat. But at the same time, you know, he was like, man, you put me in a situation where your ass might get blown away, fucking with me, because I'm not because he's armed and he's legally armed, but he automatically knows how the game works too, as far as stuff like that. So when it got real, and I even, you know, I met him halfway. I said, really, it don't even matter if Trump's in there or not, because if they get Amy Barrett in there, it's gonna be irrelevant. Like, you know, really, except just Trump would be there from a cosmetic standpoint, you know, as far as the gun ownership and stuff like that. Because that's something that if anything gets talked about, that gets talked about. Because he wears his guns, he's got that like vest thing where the guns are on his side, right while he's cutting hair. It's not a big deal, it just is what it is. And but when shit got real to him, and he's not a simp or anything. I mean, he's got a son, he's got daughters, but he's baby mama drama. In fact, child support is a lot of things that come up. This is the same dude that I told that story where I said, why you don't accept Cash App? Because I always got to get cash to get a haircut. He said, with child support. So he gets it. But at the same time, when that shit got real, as far as that shit met him in his face, and this is a dude that actually knows like the local police, as far as he knows like the chief and stuff like that in that town where he's in, because they will use his barbershop as a way for black people to actually meet up with like the police and stuff like that. And so this is not just some dude just like not engaged at all. He actually got some receipts on that. But when this shit got real, he said real quick, he was talking, because first thing he said was, oh well, we gotta vote. You know, he wasn't telling us what to do, but he was saying what he was gonna do. He said, yeah, I'm gonna get this because of ending racism. And I said, this shit ain't gonna end with him. But you know, my point is it was about understanding where they were coming from. And I knew immediately where he was coming from without explanation as soon as he explained the shit that he actually really had to deal with. And that's one thing about folks online is a lot of times, and I'm not saying this is everybody, but I'm saying folks are coming at this from different things. But that's not really the stupid shit that I was talking about. I just wanted to give y'all, kind of lead you all in with that. But definitely check it out. I appreciate Fantastic for coming on. I think it was a very good, strong, healthy debate. You know, I know he got heard, and I know I didn't take over because I was gone a lot of that time. And Gabe A was on there. PK, some people that typically don't hop on panels was on there. Shout out to Private Foster. Shout out to PK Angel. Gabe A was on there. And I learned a little bit more about Gabe A to gave context into a lot of stuff he talks about and his mindset on things. And we talked about some things that doesn't normally get talked about within the conversation. And Gabe, that shit was funny to me because Gabe was like, God damn. And even when I go with Gabe, he don't necessarily get that kind of mentality with me. But yeah, like that financial shit, I gotta say, that shit was funny as hell. Like I would love for Andre Hatchett. I don't think Andre Hatchett would get in on that conversation because it kind of goes against his brand, but I'd love to get into that financial shit, that fuckery. But anyway, that being said, where are we? We're 8 minutes in. No, nobody upset me. This was the last stream. This was a stream that just happened. The last stream on my channel. So the last video. That ended up going almost 4 hours. So here's the thing. The stupid shit, you know, shout out to BGS as well for doing these responses, because it has to be somebody that has some serious credibility on the channel front as well as the actual doing the work front to really address a lot of that stuff. And it's interesting because the same stuff that I'm kind of throwing at 1.0 is the same stuff I threw at 2.0 was coming at 3.0. First of all, I kind of think it's childish. And shout out to Fantastic again, who said Obsidian said he was right as far as the stream thing, which I already knew because the thing about it is, yeah. So yeah. So my thing is, I'm not here to be right. I want to be correct, but I'm not here to be right. What does that mean? That means that I'm not in this space to basically try to show how intelligent I am, how smart I am. I don't give a shit. There is no real benefit in that way for me to get that. For me to like display that. My goal, and so a lot of this ego shit, battle rapping shit, posturing shit, I really don't give a fuck about it. I really don't. Because at the end of the day, power is the only thing that really counts. And people like, and a big reason why we have issues in this space is because people are trying to find ways to tell motherfuckers what to do when they really ain't got no real standing to do it. And this is a lot of different shit. This is not just at one person. This is not just at 1.0, because nobody wouldn't even talk like 1. Honestly, here's the truth. The truth is the fact that people even will address 1.0, even though 1.0 ain't got no kind of clout, no kind of influence like that, outside of people that are remnants of it. Like I would consider Jason Black kind of like a remnant of 1.0, because quiet as it kept, he came out of, even though he'll try to act like he ain't Manosphere, he's his own thing. I've always said he's his own thing, but he's always going to be lumped together in the general Manosphere in that conversation as far as outsiders looking in, regardless of how he frames it. And which is what it is. And same thing with Tommy Sotomayor. They're like remnants of 1.0, even though they came on later in the 1.0. Tommy came in at like right place, right time. My point is, you know, even people communicating back and forth and making videos responding to stuff that people say just shows that people have general respect. But at the same time, you got folks that are trying to tell. It's like old niggas with nothing to offer, no insight, no knowledge on nothing, trying to come in and just tell motherfuckers that built some shit without them trying to say, well, because I'm old and I've been here, you should just do this. And that never works. I don't know why people keep doing that. At the end of the day, people are gonna do what they're gonna do. Like that stream that I did yesterday was really about, there are different ways to skin this cat. We were even talking about like if somebody wanted to create a purple pill sector. Because you got a lot of folks that want to engage in conversations that are long-term relationship conversations, married conversations, and say what you want to about Kevin Samuels, he's showing that you can engage in that and still maintain the point of view that men have, the position that men have as far as being in a where our stuff is going to get advocated for. Those things are not mutually exclusive, and that stuff is actually a conversation about that. With that, because it's a difference between men that are going into things blinding in hope and men that are going into things eyes wide open. Dre proved that. If anything, the Dre situation has proved that. There's a different situation. Glenn and Cameron's another example. When you go into things eyes wide open, that is a different mindset than if you go into things and you're deluding yourself. And see, that's a difference that's not drawn out. So there's a lot of ways to skin cats, and I'm not even saying the purple pill shit is manosphere. But what I am saying is there's different sectors that can be spurned off of the manosphere shit. When Igmore got started, SYSBM was really spurned off of that because SYSBM didn't want to be as militant as Igmore was. They didn't want to be as black centric, and this is why when you hear SYSBM talk, they talking about creating a whole nother thing. And then when you hear Itmore's talk, even though Itmore's sound a little bit more like SYSBM people now, where they're like, look, man, I will just wholesale hop. Itmore's more been associated with intercultural dating. So my point is, you have people that they're trying to like battle rap their way in the manosphere and try to try to control content creators by trying to throw other content creators under the bus in front of audiences. And that's some bullshit. Because if folks really want to play the game of, because you don't even see bigger content creators really use their influence to charge out other people's names like they could. I don't take over panels. I'm not there long enough to take over panels first. But anyway, but I just want to really say this going forward. Like going forward, I'm gonna do what the fuck I want to do. I'm loyal to me and what I want to do first. The manosphere comes second. And the truth is, the stuff that I want to do, I've deemed it worthy of doing, whether it's talking about the gynocracy, whether it's going into sales, which is what I call the now what conversation, because I'm not going to stop talking about the gynocracy. I'm not. I may repackage the information so people can kind of absorb my information a lot. If I did have to stream and play information, I'm never going to talk about that. I'm going to add on to stuff. And I'm going to tell you right now, because I already know what's going to come. What's going to happen is if I try to sell promote affiliate marketing as a solution to a lot of problems that black men have, you're going to have niggas that's going to say a whole bunch of shit. I already know what that is. And I'm telling you right now, fuck you. You're going to have people that's going to try to say, well, I need to show how much money I'm making, or I need to do this. Fuck you. You're going to have people that's going to, oh, you need to show your face when you do this, even though I'll probably show my face more in those avenues, because there's different types. Fuck you. I'm telling you that right now. You're going to have black people that's going to go out of their way to want to try to destroy something, because even if it's something they don't want to do, they just see it as an existential threat, and they're going to go straight crab in the barrel. Fuck you. You're going to do, I already know what's going to happen, because I've already seen the pattern. People that got something to say, even though they really shouldn't have something to say, fuck you. Straight up. It's gonna bother people so bad. They're gonna be like, oh, well, the manosphere is all about money, and now everything's about money. It takes money to make things work. Period. Or the manosphere isn't doing what I think they should be doing. Or this channel is built off the manosphere. Not really, like when people don't really understand that a lot of my viewers, I wouldn't let even the people that I got viewers from, which is like 3 major channels. I got like the foundation of like what my stuff is. I wouldn't let them tell me what the fuck to do. And I'll give them a lot more rope to say something than I would people that want to act like, they just, it's crazy. Like, for instance, the super chat shit, motherfuckers weren't super chatting until 2.0. That was 2.0 that brought that in. So yeah, to a certain extent, yes, I'm gonna say 3.0 needs to at least know that you motherfuckers wouldn't be super chatting like that if it wasn't for 2.0. That's a fact. That's an undeniable fact. I'm not saying they need to pay homage or give money. I'm just letting them know. Y'all need to know that wasn't happening until that had to be built in. And just like how 3.0 is doing a good job at providing at least content that people want to hear to a certain extent. But I'm getting tired of everybody crying about what the manosphere is not doing. If you think that the manosphere is not doing something that you think should be done, then motherfucker, it is your obligation to create a channel. I'm not saying you got to be a whole-fledged content creator, but it is your obligation to create a channel and actually fill in that gap. Otherwise, if you think it's not enough manosphere channels that are not that women are not on there, then you need to create a channel. If you feel like that there is something to the conversation of having females involved, and you feel like, then you need to create a channel. But I got too many people. There's too many people that they want to whine. And it's funny because a lot of the people that claim to be complaining, other people are complaining, are doing the complaining. Everybody sees the manosphere slightly differently because everybody doesn't deal with every channel that's in the manosphere. I deal with a certain level of channels. Both of I would consider above me and both I would consider at my level and below me. But the way I came into manosphere is very different than the way people came into manosphere via Tommy Soto. Most of the people that come into manosphere via Tommy Soto are more likely to deal with an angry man or Jap. Most people, I came in, I did come in through Soul and Black, but when you look at BGS and then outside of BGS, then I'm more likely to deal with more Igmore type channels. It's different. And so people's perspective is going to be bent. And then what happens is not so much, people don't have enough of a live and let live mentality. Now, I understand that you got to put limits on some things, but generally we understand, like, it's a difference between somebody that's trying to play a black female first or a black male need to come up under black women argument versus people that have different aspects of black men first. Most people in the manosphere understand being black male first comes first, and then everything else comes after that. That's one thing we do agree on, and when people disagree on that, they try to play that, they play disagreeing with that, we call that out. And then at the same time, I've said y'all just need to create another space. Create another space. There's no issue with that. Like, that's one thing I think Donovan Sharp is doing. He's creating a version of a black male or a black audience that is going to be amenable to him, black men in particular, because you don't hear fuck with black women like that. That's his right. Everybody has a right to do that, but I think there is the right to do it and there's the ability to do so. And when people don't see that ability to do so, they get mad and then they start trying to tear other people down. And this is not just certain people. I've seen it in YouTube channels that are actually successful, that they'll pull this, either behind the scenes or in front of the scenes. There's rumors of people doing certain shit. So it's something that everybody needs to pay attention to. But at the end of the day, man, I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And then the people that I want to fuck with, I will fuck with them as long as they're doing shit that is fuck wittable shit. And then when that stops, I'm going to stop fucking with them. It's really that simple. And it's not about me being angry and saying that, oh, take Jason Black, for example. I've actually recently unsubscribed from some of Jason Black's channels. Oh, news. Because I'm quite frankly getting tired of Jason Black throwing shade at the manosphere. Does that mean that everything he's ever said is all of a sudden debunked? No. Does that mean that, I've, Does that mean that his information on the business, some of it is not good? No, that doesn't mean that. But what it means is I'm getting tired of these posts that he keeps promoting. I can always go to his channel. I don't need to be subscribed to him, and he doesn't need my measly ass subscription. But I can always go into his channel. If it's something that strikes, I can always do that. Because I told y'all I was cleaning out my feed. But at the same time, you know, I'm not going to keep on hearing these little fucking pot shots with somebody can always come over here, talk to the PhDs, talk to the big wigs, have a conversation. But instead, what we want to do is we want to claim to be pro-black, but we want to fight for petty shit, not even shit that matters. Because why? Because the manosphere has the nerve to have an audience. If everybody ain't running through you and people you deem worthy, then you got something to say about it. That's bullshit. And black people and black men in particular got to get off that bullshit. People fuck with, like, I will never understand why people fuck with RBR. But that doesn't mean I'm going to say RBR doesn't deserve to have a market. And maybe that's the libertarian in me, even though I'm not a libertarian. Everybody's going to have a market. Whoa, does a white supremacist need a market? Different situation. We're not talking about people trying to do some bullshit to harm other people. So, of course, I don't think that. But come on, man, that's far leap from what we talking about. Even black men that say that they don't believe in white supremacy deserve a market. Because the truth is, black people are going to have a reflection as to even black men that don't believe that there's a gynocracy deserves a market. Because guess what? I'm comfortable enough to understand what the reality of the situation is, that if people want to do that, that's going to be stand on sand. And there's people, and by the way, he's not like there's people I've unsubscribed before. Like I've unsubscribed from like Tariq Nasheed and stuff like that. I can still promote some of the stuff they do. Doesn't mean, I mean, there's a lot of channels I'm not subscribed to actually. Just because I'm not subscribed to a channel doesn't mean that, you know, I don't fuck with that channel at all. In fact, I'm subscribed to a lot of channels because I want my feed, a lot of people in my feed, like Mace Tager and all them, so I can share their videos. So it's not that big of a deal. But at the same time, you know, it's certain. You just because you fuck with somebody doesn't mean you gotta fuck with people like that in every situation. And I think black men get way too binary on it. They see enemy, friend type of shit, and it's based on bullshit. Even you know, people say he paid. That's actually not true. I don't know why people say that. You know, people say that Jason panders to an audience. Jason, if you compare Jason Black to Derrick Jackson, come on now. Or anybody that Obsidian has done to the black, like Obsidian versus the black love industry, he does not do that. Yes, he has a pretty, I would argue a 50, maybe 55, 45 black female audience, but that he doesn't pander to them like y'all saying. So like that's another thing. Let's give context. Just like I said this about Fantastic. I said there's a difference between Fantastic coming to other black men and arguing, in this case, other black men in a black male forum about, you know, white supremacy and how black men, that's bullshit, how black men use it. And then him having a white audience like a Brandon Tatum and doing it and getting paid for it. Those are two completely different things. And black men need to start, and I pointed that out in that last video I did, that panel, multiple times. Because I wanted people to understand. When you look at him, the David Johnsons of the world and stuff like that, you know, and people like that, I mean, people want to, oh, I don't understand. Look, I understand people think some of the stuff they say is stupid, but they are worthy of engaging with in a conversation, because there's a lot of black men that think like that. And it's better to get that to where we know what their opinion is and people can actually reflect that and look at it than to try to bury shit. I actually had this point when it comes to Trump. I said straight up, I said, I'm probably not going to vote for Trump. I'm probably going to write in a candidate. But at the same time, I'm not going to be mad if Trump is in there, because you talking about Indian racism. I'm talking about, I'd rather that shit be in front of your face than be behind the scenes. Because when it's in your face, then it's much harder for people to try to deny it. And you see that people will try to deny it even if it is in your face. So you know it's going to be a lot easier when other people get in there. It doesn't, we can have different reasons for supporting the same thing. Doesn't matter. But I'm seeing all these people have this critique of the manosphere because the manosphere isn't what they think it should be. And a lot of these people have individual, some of there's like a couple, like 3 or 4 factions of what people think the manosphere should be. And the reality is, a lot of what I see as an issue with a lot of those factions is they don't have the ability to build out what they want. I think the manosphere should talk a lot more about the gynocracy than they do. But at the same time, I'm not out here telling folks what to do. I put my stuff out there and I leave it to what it's going to be as the people are going to see it worthy of duplicating. And the good news is there are people like Fantastic doesn't talk about the gynocracy all the time, but he definitely acknowledges it. Ramil doesn't talk about it all the time, but he definitely acknowledges it. And a lot of their content, they don't have to talk about it, but they do things like Ramil talks about living a lifestyle that can definitely counter that, whether he says the gynocracy all the time or not. Fantastic is definitely talking about his conservative stuff is definitely not pro-gynocracy. That's one thing about the conservatives, they're just not pro-gynocracy. You know, you have groups that deal with it as it is, and sometimes you just gotta let stuff be enough. And I don't see that. I see people want to say, well, motherfuckers got to do exactly what the fuck I want to do. And that's some arrogant ass shit. It ain't like like what BGS said it. You got to either pay people off, you got to influence, or you got to force people to do it. But you can't force people to do it, can't pay people off, and you can't influence it. So now what we're going to do is we're going to use like manipulative tactics in order to try to throw other people under the bus or shame shit or do shit like that. That's bullshit. And quite frankly, that's weakness. Even when people say, well, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Okay. What does that mean? What's up, son? Is a hot rod. Fast attack. What up, Ed? No, I know Don Calypso. It's all good. See what y'all talking about, because I really didn't want to make this an hour. What's up, NC Worker? 508, 501 Ism. Haven't seen your stuff. Seeing you commenting away. No, you're the only one saying I'm boring. What's up, Todd City Garage? Tampa Supreme. Seeing some new people, which I appreciate. Roastmaster OG. Sup, Mike V. Yeah, Don Calypso was the one that said Tommy's a Johnny. But see, at the end of the day, Tommy hit my nerves for other things. But I've let that go. I'm not a supporter of his, but I've let that shit go. Arenza, Eza, nothing happened. Kill dude. Anthony Spade and MTR about to take the manosphere of mainstream. Their channels explode. Yeah, well, I don't pay attention to Anthony Spade like that. I know of his channel, and Anthony Spade is kind of like channels is their channels. They have an overall audience. They don't just have a black male audience. But Anthony Spade, from what I've listened to, he seems like he's a cool dude. And folks gotta, yeah. So you have people listening to black men of different groups, and Anthony Spade does not. There's degrees to that. Just like how when y'all want to say Jason Black caters to black, that's not true. Not the way you all are saying it. Not like Derek Jackson does. There's degrees to it, and everybody is not gonna. But he's called. He did. So I mean, if we're gonna say something, let's say it. Because when I critique something, I don't want people to think I'm just throwing shit at shit. I want people to know everything that I'm saying is on target. And that's the thing, man. And what we have to understand is the manosphere. The manosphere is at a point now where it's strong enough to stand some kind of change. It's strong coming first in what we in the black male position being spoken to. You can like people like Anthony Spade is going to be more general men. Well, a lot of what black men talk about is not off of what other men talk about. The problem with other YouTubers is not a bad thing. I don't understand why people they get so pissed off about shit like that. Our market is, and that's another thing too. We got to start bringing other black men into our market. Black men are our audience, and the way you do that is by focusing on things, places who black men are, which I think we've done a good job at establishing the different archetypes of black men because we argue with each other all the time, and then where they are. So we got the general things like sports, even a lot of these gossip places, and then where are the places to get, who they like sports. A lot of people don't understand the hashtags around, barbershops and um, barbershops and like getting waves and dreads and stuff. That's a big market to get get black men. So, but you don't hear that talk. People want to talk about, oh well, I don't want to bring nobody else in. Okay, you don't have to. Let's just establish who black men are, where they are, and then basically take our information to them, or we create buffer information that can funnel them into the real shit that we talk about. But you don't hear black men really talking about that in this space. They expect, they try to build up off the same audience that's already there, the same black men audience that comes from other places. So what we start doing is we start eating each other. Yeah, Jim, right. He does acknowledge the gynocracy, but he has been coming away from that more. He's just trying to see the issue that I have with Jason Black ultimately, and Obsidian actually pointed this out a long time ago when I actually sent a video of Jason Black and he did a commentary on it, which I appreciate that. He said Jason Black has a very dated view of black male and female relationships. But the problem with Jason Black is as much shit as he tries to talk about the manosphere, at the end of the day, a guy that's a millionaire, that's been everywhere, and yes, I could believe he's had black women propose to him, which just shows a lot of masculine shit. But the point is, he ain't never said yes, and he ain't never married one. So that's just and he ain't got no kids. Unless that's not true, and he's so private, he doesn't put that out there because he's never mentioned he has kids. As far as I'm concerned, people just need to observe how he's living, and then there's no art, there's no debate that needs to happen. And he's like what, 43, 44? Say what you want to about Boyce Watkins. Boyce Watkins is married. So my point is, he could say what we're saying all day, every day is all this shit. And this is not counting if you actually know his information he brought out years ago. So at the end of the day, that's why I don't even take that shit seriously that he's talking about. Because people don't have to acknowledge shit. You just look at how they live it. And see, any female that's listening to that, you notice they never call that out until they start to get mad. Then they'll start to bring that shit up. But by then, it doesn't matter. I wouldn't care because that's not what this is. He said, how would I feel if the right race said we hate everyone equally, even ourselves? Well, number one, that would be a lie. That would be a lie. And Dr. Francis Cress Welsing's work proves that. Rashid, I think it was a good string, Rashid. And make sure y'all get the lights up. Yeah, one thing that we have to do that I really want to do is I want to take what we have and how can we take our brand. When I say the brand, I mean not so much the brand, but like how do we do what we need to do that still attracts the audience we want to attract some money, because money generates what's going on. Sorry. Everybody wants this little thing to be small and a hole in the wall. Well, you can create your own hole in the wall. My channel is its own hole in the wall. So wanting the manosphere to be just like everything like me is stupid. But how do we take what we do, our brand, our philosophy, and apply it? Like Jada Black is a perfect example of taking kind of like the brand, this kind of manosphere, and applying it into the gossip shit. And there's money in that. So there's value in that. And then you're bringing different people into that. This is why he uses the term melanated men. He means black men. But yeah, you have, I mean, even with O'Shea, with the entertainment stuff he's doing right now, that's an example. It's telling you there's a big market where that can be duplicated. Same thing with Kevin, where people can get whatever. Say what you want to do about Kevin. you know, those points are still being put out there. Glenn and Cameron's another example of that, where Glenn and Cameron is all about being unapologetically masculine, and even though he's not particularly talking about just black men, it is a lot of black men that listen to him. There's nothing he says that counters anything with him being a black man, and he will address these issues. He calls it being a progressive black person, but he will address these issues if he wants to, because I've seen him do it. He did it a couple of weeks ago in a series of videos. So these are examples, and applying this in sports. Well, we don't have to change up a lot of our stuff in sports. This can just be an ancillary conversation when it comes to sports. And obviously, we have people that want to do channels, and you know, we have to do that. Even when people want to bring up Jessica X, at the end of the day, Jessica X is somebody that could definitely attract other black men. And that's another thing black men need to consider when they want to talk about keeping the space male. It's not like she's controlling the space. Because let's say her shit blows up to 100,000. That doesn't mean that she takes over the manosphere. That doesn't mean that Jessica X could sit there and, let's say, doesn't mean that she could say BGS and throw BGS under the bus and all of a sudden his standing in the manosphere wouldn't be there. That's not true. And I can prove that. Nola Girl is a perfect example of that. Nola Girl, if y'all know who that is, white chick, Italian, New Orleans. She's white. And all them white red pill dudes, she was more conservative. She wasn't nutty conservative, but she's the type of chick you can sit there and actually have a real conversation with. And they found out she was married to a black person, black man. And then they lost their fucking minds. Now her channel still stands. As much as they tried to go at her channel still stands. But, and it still stands at a lot of subs. It kind of weathered that storm and went back to growing. But Nola Girl can't basically knock out any of the white MGTOW channels because it doesn't matter. People watch her for different reasons, even though she validates a lot of stuff there. Now, when I say she's more in the conservative space versus the more MGTOW space, but a lot of the audience was those white MGTOWs. And people, and so people see that as such a threat. I don't see that as a threat because at the end of the day, people can choose to listen to whatever. She's still one channel to one person. And people don't understand that. And there's been women that's come and go in these conversations. Irene Yvette, and a lot of other, they come and go. They come and go. I mean, even like the biggest real threat was like what, Yvette Carnell and Tone Talks. And even that shit came up and that went down once you start to realize how political they were. It's not a big deal. I mean, you got people like Zoe Williams and people that, like YouTube is a very big place, and I think people lose sight of that. So all these little fights that people have about shit, in my opinion, is stupid. It's not so much what they're exactly saying is stupid. It's that the intention that they have behind it. It's like, okay, you're gonna say, well, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Okay, great. And then a lot of times, a lot of these people, I'm not even selling nothing yet to none of y'all. I'm not selling an opportunity yet. I'm not saying, well, if you do this, you do that. Don't listen to them. Do what I'm doing. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to say, this is what I'm doing, and I'm going to do the work to actually build it out within this space. And then I'm not going to tell you, because what I'm doing is what I'm doing. And it's going, and the price point and stuff that I'm talking about is going to stand on its own. That's why you don't see me with no Patreon. I'm not hating on nobody that does this, but I'm just saying, y'all can super chat me if you want to, and to be for real. Well, yeah, y'all have been super chatting me. Y'all can super chat me. You can cash out. Y'all see me doing all these different ways for you to give me money, and I'm gonna keep it real with you. Sooner or later, I'm turn like my super chat may not always be turned on, because once I start introducing other stuff, I'm probably gonna be like, nah, that's how I want y'all to support me. If you want to support me. Man, I don't know. That's up in the air. And everybody doesn't have to agree with that. Like Ramil said, by no means. Here's the funny thing about Ramil. Ramil said, by no means, I'm not dealing with no bitches on this channel. Okay. But at the same time, Ramil has said that he'll be open to anybody that will bring more subscribers to this space. Now he could technically have it both ways in that situation, but my thing is you have to be strategic about stuff like that. Now, can everybody do that? No. And I think at some point we're gonna have to start reaching out to other channels and growing. It's gonna be a strategy to grow that way. And everybody's not gonna like that, but at the same time, man, the actual Manosphere audience is a meable audience. Another thing too is the Manosphere audience needs to start being codified in ways that are not necessarily YouTube related. We need to start reaching on other social media networks as well as other niches. And some people are doing this work, but a lot of people aren't. And if they are doing it, they're doing it more for themselves. Son is high rejection black. No, there's been a shift in the last 2 to 3 years where everybody's moving from poor blackness to black relation issues, black man shit. Yeah, I agree with that. They are anti-capitalists. That's what I like about Yvette and Tone. But yeah, you're right. And I think that he's ignored it for a long time. Although I've been aware of what his views are in previous videos when he started coming at dudes that travel and stuff like years and years ago. And I think personally, he sees it as a problem. And I think he's overestimating his ability to shut because it's not about the manosphere power has never been about the individual channels. It's about the points. And the one mistake that black people have, and he's understood this, this is why he's always met it halfway, is trying to just act like something doesn't exist. Because now what you have with these millennials, and these millennials are coming in our space and they're already doing this. You see a couple of them. And here's the thing that y'all don't understand. Like for instance, let's take like a Jessica X out of it, because dudes get triggered. What about like some of these dudes? You got Hammer, Joe. You got some of these young cats, some of which have been listening to Manosphere for a long time, even though they're only like 19, 20, 21. They can speak to these millennials better than we can because they are one. They deal with them. They can deal with the folks that are younger than that. Then I'm 33 years old. I can't speak to a 17-year-old as good as like a 21-year-old can, or a 16-year-old is one. I just can't. And I'm not arrogant enough to believe I can. There's obviously I have information as far as what can accelerate them, but as far as speaking directly to how they think, what their issues are, I'm not going to be so even if we start focusing on getting the younger folks, which is the one thing that people are afraid of in the manosphere, is that we'll actually start, because the manosphere aims older. The manosphere aims like 25 and up, not 25 and down. And we start trying to codify those folks through other folks. Now we become a problem because that's a much more stronger, like the traffic flows a lot stronger in the younger you go. It's just not as much money or as like selling of getting in the way and shit. And everybody has these critiques because once folks are breaking away and they start doing what they want to do, I think folks really have an issue because they think they're not going to have a lot of power to stop what folks are doing. Get them likes up. Appreciate the super chat. Because I can tell you right now. Bullshit. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Like people want to use game to try to nullify this conversation, to try to say, well, if all y'all just had y'all shit together, like black women. Yeah, what's up? A brother doing a ice cream truck. Black business. Black business. Yeah, like what it is what people are really. Here's the thing: black people everybody in the manosphere is not even like pro hop the fence, pro not dealing with black women. Everybody is not even like that, and that's one thing I've argued about before. But at the same time, you know, dude, Chris. Okay, I'm gonna end this video with this. Chris, I gotta share the video. So shout out to Mediocre Reviews and Tutorials, light skinned brother. You know, they did got a channel, and I've listened to his videos. He's got a good mind about these things. Because some people are trying to say, well, he's just being nuanced to avoid the hard stuff. But no, he's made stances what he's needed to, um, just in his way. But he's definitely made the stances. And he did a video just today with, and I found that through Solo TV 84. And he did a video with about, because he does a lot of like, it's kind of like reactionary videos but longer form, like the shit y'all have seen me do. But you know, yeah, anyway, he did a video about Kerosene just did a video talking about why black women are fat. And so here's the timeline with that, and then I'm gonna end the video. The timeline is, yeah, we have been effective reaching the youth. And I think that's why you got people talking damaging black sons and shit like that. Whatever. If people think I'm influencing people now, you wait till I really start doing shit. Then people gonna really be upset and mad. Now I go here, oh, he just about the money, he just about this. I already know that. I already know that's coming. I already know that's coming. Watch. But anyway, it ain't gonna matter that I did this stuff for damn me 3 years and didn't even have a monetize. I ain't had no PayPal. Ain't like really. I didn't. Whatever. Anyway, like I was saying before, you need to see that video, because when you look at the timeline, it's not a long video. It's like 30 minutes, and really a lot of it is like 20 minutes you need to see. But you got Kerosene. Kerosene comes to Kevin's shit, and she gives basically she, at my knowledge, that she can't even get black women to lose weight for white men. Then she wants to disavow Kevin Samuels because her audience is crying about it, because they're in their feelings. Basically, a lot of her audience is that Lonnie Love crowd, to be honest with you, those types. And then now she's doing a video on why black women don't lose weight, and she gives like these talking points. Like one of the talking points is because their hair is straight, so they don't want to mess up their hair, which is true. Another talking point is because of cortisol, stress, which he said was not true, not as true as how she was trying to define it. So she gives these reasons, and the thing about it is, now she wants to play the women should get with the best men. And the thing that I've said to that is, I'm like, Kerosene, let's stop pretending that women are settling when they're in their 20s. Let's stop acting like they don't choose the best that they can get at any time of their life. But like this idea that black women are like sacrificing their youth for like to be with black men when they could do better. We all know that's a lie. We all know that's not true. That's not true. And it's never been true. Now, in reverse, I know that, yeah, I believe there's dudes doing that. And the problem is that dudes are starting to not do that. So it's coming back to all of this. You can't have a conversation about black issues if you're dating out, as if most black men are only dating out. That's not true. And it is a form of dick policing. And at the end of the day, whatever, man. I mean, people can have that argument. I personally don't give no fucks about it. Because at the end of the day, I'm like, all right, man, you can sell that game. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And then when they come to business, let's see what it's really about. But Kerosene, but now she wants to frame it. She wants to, she's having a conversation. But the problem is culture. And see, the issue really with her is it's so hard for her to acknowledge, yeah, they're right. And guess what? There is nowhere you're going to go. Here's the truth. The truth is black men will accept bigger women than any other group, period. So the best you're going to ever be able to do being like that is with black men. Because you deal with anybody else, even the bottom shelves are not going to deal with that. So the fact that it's a complaint is not a complaint that every other person wouldn't make. But now it becomes about black men and not about them. And that's really what messes them up. So even in that video, she's acknowledging things that we've said. And a lot of the politicking is why she goes back and forth on it. She's politicking with her own audience. She's politicking with how she looks in front of everybody. And it's not about helping people, it's about wanting to be right. And I'm like, you here's the thing, and people are getting older. So you can argue with us all day, every day. At the end of the day, it's gonna be what it's gonna be. And you ain't getting no younger. And to be honest with you, if obviously this isn't gonna make her money. And she would never do this because this won't make her money. Like, you got two people in her audience. You got people that want to live vicariously through her, having a white dude. And then you have folks that are actually serious. And the problem is, she needs to separate that group somehow. Like, the groups of women that are serious about trying to do better, and for some reason they think she's the pathway to do it, and then the ones that just living, they're in the swirler part of YouTube because they want to live vicariously through people that can actually get a person. Which is a lot of the gang stuff is too, by the way, with dudes. You have dudes that are living vicariously through what other dudes are doing. Which, hey, that's not the content creator's fault. That's the audience fault. And that's another thing. As you start to see more channels blow up, because you got like that are manosphere related, they're outside of like the pro-black. They're not really manosphere. Like Anthony Spade is not really is not manosphere. Even though he's more of a you have this white manosphere. You have what I call the general manosphere, which is kind of like, it can be a lot of different shit. And then you have the black manosphere. And so Anthony Spade would be somebody that would be kind of like in the general manosphere. I don't think he's a white manosphere channel. I would consider Coach Greg Adams more on the white manosphere front. So it's different degrees, and I think people don't really look at the different degrees. So at the end of the day, as this stuff gets more popular and YouTube lets off on it a little bit, which you're starting to see, you're going to see stuff go a little bit more mainstream. You're going to see different channels. But I always tell the audience, everybody, oh, well, the manosphere is going this way. Dude, you should only, like, the manosphere should be like maybe 8, 9 channels, maybe 5. What are all these channels that you're paying? Are you telling me you're looking at everybody, so many channels that you can see what so many channels are doing? That's stupid to me. That's like getting mad about who's president, but rather than getting your money up to where who's the president doesn't affect you. Even Karen said that. She said that black women are like between the size 18 and the size 21, and the average woman is like a size 16. She said that at the beginning of that video. And the only reason I looked at Karen shit is because it was on that Mediocre Reviews as he was reacting to it. And so this is true. This isn't going anywhere. And even Jason Black will acknowledge that shit too, by the way. But this idea that people want to equalize stuff, yeah, there's dudes that are bummy. There's dudes that don't want to do. But here's the thing. The dudes that are not productive, but they have quote unquote social value, the women will still deal with those dudes. Now, fuck anybody that's a lame that can't get a bitch. But at the end of the day, those chicks, what I'm not gonna tell dudes that are lame is that they need to get their shit together only to save females that wanted to have kids with dudes that were not productive and had no social value. It had a lot of social value. And people need to be very clear with that. But see, the problem is you can't say that because there's so many chicks out here with single mothers. I got more respect. You know who I got more respect? I think I heard Gab say this. Gab said that at the end of the day, somebody said, I don't know if it was Gab or who, but somebody said, well, at the end of the day, y'all go get with these single mothers because there's so many of them. Otherwise, y'all not going to be with black women. You know what? I got more respect for somebody to say that. Because at least now we're getting to the heart of the matter. The problem, well, why aren't y'all dating now? Because the price to date in is too high. Well, you just need to be perfect. Well, the problem is if I'm a perfect nigga, then the what I'm gonna be offered is gonna be a deal I cannot refuse from other groups. You can't get away from this. Oh, well, you just need to do it because you black and that's it. You got to do better than that. And even BGS said that on the video he was doing responding to Soul and Black. You got to do better than that. You got to. If you care about the black community that much, you got to do better than that. Because now these Z's don't care. That argument has run its course. That that argument has run its course. And now people are now starting to attack people because they know that argument can't stand on its own anymore. You got to do better. And people said this for like 10 years, and now you're getting to a point where now it's real now. It's real now. Where now you seeing a generation of young black men that are making a different choice. And now people don't know what to do with that except do the same thing over and over and over and over and over and over again. And I mean, the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and thinking you're going to get a different result. And not only are you getting a different result, the law of diminishing returns is starting to kick in. And here's the thing. The thing is, let's say you shut everything down and people stop talking. Well, the problems don't go away. And that's what people don't really understand. It's like, take California. California is constantly having brush fires. They put one out, they have brush fires. I'm not saying there's a solution to that problem, but what I am saying is, obviously, the stuff keeps coming up for a reason. Putting the fire out doesn't fix nothing. And now it's to the point now where you can't knock out, you're starting to see channels start to break out. And it doesn't matter if people don't. Here's the thing. People don't have to like Kevin Samuels. Guess what? People agree that, most people agree that black women being too big, and that's a big reason why black men ain't getting married to them. You don't. See, now that's being harder and harder to argue. People want to talk about going overseas and all these chicks are prostitutes overseas. Well, black women are prostituting themselves in America on OnlyFans. These arguments, you cannot ignore these arguments. We're arguing that 1 + 1 is 2. We're arguing that the earth is round. It is what it is. But a lot of this stuff, as far as this politic and shit, I'm not going to be dealing with it no more like that. Because at the end of the day, I'm going to be doing what I need to do to push what the agenda I'm trying to push. And I've been open and honest about what that is. People want to come with me, they can. People don't, they don't. It's that serious. I'm going to support the people that are within that range and the ones that won't. I won't. And it's that serious. It's time to start competing on the eyes of building and not trying to talk about collaborating together, but let's collaborate together, but do what I want you to do. And that's probably, if you don't think about anything if you all don't remember anything I said today, remember that. Fuck that. Let's collaborate together, but you do what I want. Or I do what you want me to do bullshit. That's not collaboration. That's you trying to manipulate somebody into doing what they want you to do. And if you want to do that, you're going to have to buy them off, influence them, or actually force them. That's it. That's it. Anyway, with that being said, I appreciate y'all. We're about at an hour. This is Edward signing off. Peace.